Hello and welcome back to Prideful Europe TV. Today we're previewing the big game of the weekend against Arsenal. Going down to the Emirates, we've got to acknowledge it's going to be tough. I know Arsenal aren't the team they used to be, they're not the dominant force they were from the 90s, but they are still a pretty good side. You know, going back to the 90s, there was those tasty clashes. You had Keane versus Vieira. They used to have their back four: Dixon, Winterburn, Adams, Keogh, and it was really good, really strong side. Petit, Overmars, Pires, Henry, Ian Wright, Dennis Bergkamp, you name it. Arsenal had some fantastic players down there during the 90s. But you know, a modern day Arsenal, a bit spineless, not quite as physical as they once were. Tend to melt in games, and you know, they won their first trophy in 9 years last season. But like I say, they're not the side they once were, so we really shouldn't have too much to fear going down there. But that said, the build up to this game for us has been dominated by injuries, players going on international duty, picking up knocks, players already in the squad that haven't fully recovered. So it is becoming a right pain in the backside, all this injury nonsense. So Van Gaal had his press conference today, so we'll run through a few of the injury updates. David De Gea is going to be fit for the game at Arsenal. Michael Carrick is fit, which both two really plus points there. Luke Shaw, there's a question mark next to him, but looking at how he played for England midweek, he wasn't carried off on a stretcher or dragged off with an injury. They gave him 10 minutes after he took a knock, so I think he will be fit for the game. Daley Blind sadly is out, not necessarily for 6 months as was first reported, but you know, I think again Van Gaal was making a point that it could be a long-term one, but not as long as Riddle suggested. So you know, my heart goes out to Daley Blind because he's been playing really well this season. He's a new signing. He was slowly becoming my favourite player, as I've said before in these videos. He goes quietly about his business, but what he does well. So you know, speedy recovery, mate. Di Maria is fit, which is great. Johnny Evans is getting there, according to the boss. But then you've got Raphael, Jones, Rojo and Falcao, who are all out indefinitely. He mentioned Falcao. He said he's picked up a new knock. It's going to be another 4 weeks. He might be make an appearance in 2, but it's going to be 4 weeks before he can start. So we've got a few. You know, it's not as bad as we first thought. I had my Arsenal mate get in touch the other day at Scotty Davis Gooner. He was asking what sort of state our squad's in, because he really expects us to go down to the Emirates and turn them over. But when he heard about all the injuries, he felt a bit more confident in that. So looking at the game last season, we beat them at Old Trafford 1-0, but they dominated possession, they dominated territory. And when we went to the Emirates, it was when David Moyes was really under a lot of pressure, and we got a 0-0 there. But we should have won the game really. We hit the crossbar. Van Persie missed another chance. We haven't lost to Arsenal in four meetings now. It could even be longer than that actually. I think it's 4. But you know, like I say, if everyone was fit, I would expect us to go down there and get a result without any shadow of a doubt. Arsenal are a good side, but they're no longer an elite side. You've got to think the elite sides are ourselves, City and Chelsea, and then Arsenal are the next tier. I know they get in the Champions League every year. I know they finished above us last year and won the FA Cup, but they haven't been a massive side for a long time now. There's a few sort of side stories to this as well. You've got Danny Welbeck facing us. Obviously chose to go down the Emirates in the summer. We all love Danny. He was a fan's favourite, but hopefully he does nothing on Saturday. Alexis Sanchez, really good signing for Arsenal. A player that we apparently looked at for a very long time, but he opted to go to Barcelona instead. So imagine if we had got him. He's a real fantastic player. Aaron Ramsey, the man that signed for us, or we announced on our website that he signed for us, and then he went to Arsenal. So there's always a few side stories when we do play Arsenal, because just the history. You know, there was the battles in the 90s, Pizzagate, us ending their unconvincible side 50 game unbeaten run, or 49 games and out, should I say? So yeah, it's always a tasty encounter. And on a personal level, I know tons of Arsenal fans, absolutely tons. Majority of them are deluded as hell. They still think they're a massive side, and they still think that they can win the Champions League and they can do this, that, and the other. But you've got to be realistic. Like we are this season. We're not a great team at the moment, but it's in transition. We've had 2 managers in 2 seasons. A lot of players have gone. A lot of players have come. A lot of players have joined. So give it time. But Arsenal fans are still deluded. 9 seasons, 1 trophy, fair enough, they get top 4 every year, they celebrate it like they've won the league. They're not what they were, you know. That 98 side, which I think their 98 side, which I think was better than their unconvincible side. Them two teams will go down in history, but what their current crop probably won't. Last season they looked good, but losing 6-0 or 5-0 at Chelsea and Liverpool, it sort of showed there's gaps in their team, and that brings me on to the teams that could start this weekend at the Emirates. If Monreal starts at centre half because Koscielny's still injured, you've got to really fancy our chances, because Mertesacker's not exactly the quickest player in the world, and Monreal's not a natural centre half, so we could really exploit that. Taking our injuries into consideration, I think Van Gaal will opt for obviously De Gea in goal, Valencia at right back, Smalling and McNair at the centre halves, and I think Shaw will be fit to play left back. And then I think you'll see Michael Carrick sit in front of them to offer protection. I think he'll go with Herrera, Fellaini and Di Maria in midfield, with Rooney in front of them and Van Persie up top. Now, I was quite tempted to put Darren Fletcher in, simply because Darren Fletcher has got a history of playing well against Arsenal. I think it'll be a toss-up between himself and Herrera, but I think Herrera will get the nod. You don't spend all that money for no reason. He started the season well, he did pick up a knock, and that's why he went off the boil. So yeah, that's what I think we'll go. I think that's what Van Gaal will go with. I think it's going to be. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Hope, you know. Obviously, I want 3 points, and like I say, it's 6th against 7th, and Arsenal on 17 points. We're on 16. There's not much between us. Arsenal are not playing well recently. The capitulations we've seen from them: 3-0 up against Anderlecht at home in the Champions League, drew 3-0. 1-0 up away at Swansea, ended up losing 2-1. It's not the only times they've done that this season. They've not been great all year. They're drawing a lot of games. They're not beating the big sides. Again, it's a problem Wenger's always had. So I'm quietly confident going down there, but I'm not gonna overcook it, if you like. So I reckon it'll be 1-1. Yeah. So that's where I'm at the moment with this game. So give me a shout if you want to talk about the game. I'm on Twitter. It's at Nathan W. That's NATHONW. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep in touch with all the boys and girls that work for Pride of All Europe TV. And sadly, I didn't get a ticket because away tickets are like gold dust. So if anyone comes across a ticket, give me a ring. You know, give me a tweet or whatever, because I'll meet you at the ground or whatever. You know. So yeah, a little bit of self promotion at the end of this video. I'm sure the boys won't be happy, but I don't really care. So come on, United. Let's go and turn over those Gooners. Cheers.